Hi all. I haven't done any videos in a while, so I'm just now reteaching myself how to do it. I have some exciting things to share with you today. First of all, I want to introduce Ring of Fire. This is one of the anthologies that I have edited recently in the past couple of years. I don't have any stories in this one, but I do have a list of wonderful authors who contributed stories to this. There are all kinds of stories, everything from science fiction to whatever. The idea was to place it around the Ring of Fire, where all the earthquakes and the volcanoes are in the Pacific Ocean. And that was the whole idea. What is your interpretation of it? We had some very, very interesting stories. I have a story called Mineral Rights by Wayland Smith, Scorched Earth by D.J. Tyler, Light of the Kilns by Danielle Aurora, and trust me, it's a fascinating story. The Technique by John A. McCauley, Smoke Eaters by Kevin Hobson, and quite a few others. There's a total of, let me count them real quick. 21 stories total for Ring of Fire. This is available from Wolfsanger Publications or on Amazon, so please look it up. Like I said, it's got all kinds of fun stories in here, all types of different stories, and it was a lot of fun to edit. Now, my pride and joy, Space Brides LLC. The setting for this was, you must have Space Brides LLC is the name of the agency. The time is the future. And like the old days in the 1800s with the mail order brides, this was mail order brides or husbands who go out into space, and I kept it pretty much confined to just the solar system. And it has some lovely traditional couples, but it also has some non-traditional pairings. And they're all very well done. This is for anybody who likes clean romance. This would be the perfect anthology to read because there's nothing but clean romance in here. I had very strong restrictions on what type of physical affection was allowed. Everything is closed door, so there's no sex on screen. Sorry, ladies, who really get into that. But that was my determination on this anthology. Now, I do have a story in here. I'm going to read just a little bit of it. The name of my story is Had My Reasons. Give me a second while I turn to that page. Mine is the only paranormal romance in here. All of the rest of them are like regular romances. We have everything from thieves to a group marriage to a woman who is green in color and how she finds love. So I'm very, very proud of Ring of Fire. It's excellent. As I said, it's closed door romance for those of you who like the nice clean stuff. So I'm going to read a little bit from Had My Reasons. I must be out of my mind, Abram decided even as he stepped through the door of Space Brides LLC. The company only had one office in the asteroids. How many of the other miners used their services, he had no way of knowing. There were what, he mused, several hundred rock scavengers seeking their fortune, like he'd read about during the historic gold rushes of long ago. When he glanced around the office and noticed the lack of clients, it came as a huge shock. Most of the men were single and in need of feminine company, and not just those in the saloons or brothels. "You're Abram Laverano," a gray-haired woman sitting behind the metal desk greeted him. She wore a blue jumpsuit with the SBLLC branded in silver on the left side. He nodded, not surprised that she knew him. Back on Earth, he'd been a well-known actor, clawing his way up the stardom ladder. Would have had a good shot, too, if he'd not learned about the darkroom deals and the roles directors cast before agents could approach them. He'd lost too many opportunities due to their antics. He cringed, plus a foolish decision that had consigned him to darkness. So, he sold everything, migrated out to the asteroids on a slow freighter. Abram scraped by like everyone else. Quite the profile you have, the woman continued, her voice firm and warm. I'm Liz, she introduced herself. Pleasure, he returned. He pointed to the empty benches attached to the rock floor. This place ever busy? Only when the supply ship docks. She smiled, the lines around her blue eyes crinkled. Abram knew how busy the main complex could be when the supply ships came in and how quickly everything ran out. I have a couple of contractors who come in to help out, she continued. Contractor was a way of life. Many worked odd jobs filling in as needed. Harsh way to survive. Yet he'd done so himself when he'd first arrived. Made enough to stake his own claim. Any prospects? Abram inquired, doubtful the answer would be any different than it had over the past years or so. Brides migrated to the planets and the moons, not the asteroids. Liz pulled up her screen, which shimmered in the air. Her gaze studied the information. Maybe. Maybe? He refused to get excited or get his hopes up. Looks like we have a query from a transfer on Io. Io. Biggest mining operation in the solar system. Rumor had it they'd had some problems a few years back. Local law enforcement had cleaned it up. Company changed hands afterward and expanded operations. Profession? His nose itched, and he scratched it. Could be a night lady wanting out in a new start. Not an ideal match. Cook, Liz answered. He blinked. Cook? The woman had one of the most in-demand skills. She could get a job anywhere and be paid well. Why would she choose to come to the asteroids? There's a hitch. Liz studied the info. Just his luck. Somebody already hired her. No, she sent him a stern look. The prospective bride has guardianship of her younger siblings and, she chuckled, a cat. Liz became all business. As you know, children and pets must be disclosed and agreed upon beforehand. She en route? He felt a moment of panic. Liz checked. Leaves next week. Ship will come through dropping off new miners, supplies, and any passengers before continuing to Mars. Picture? Long shot. Seeing what she looked like wouldn't matter. Surprisingly, yes. A 3D image wavered. His gray eyes darted to the image. A woman with shoulder-length black hair, her features plain, but not unattractive, and eyes the color of sapphires. Looked to be a bit older than most brides who migrated out. 40s, maybe. She wore a brown jumpsuit, and in her arms an orange cat glared with yellow eyes. Beside her stood a young boy and girl who didn't look anything like her. Step-siblings, perhaps, or adopted. Both wore colorful pants and tops with brown hair and eyes. They seem young to be siblings. He waited for a response. Adopted, according to the file. Am I allowed to read it? as long as the prospective bride has permission to do the same. Granted. Let's head out a disc. If possible, I'd like a decision in 2 days. You'll have my answer within a day. And it goes on from there. So again, just to emphasize, it is a romance, or shall we say a space romance. If you are looking for clean fiction, do feel free to pick up Space Brides LLC. It is a wonderful collection of stories, probably one of the most fun anthologies I have ever had fun putting together. Y'all have a great day, and thank you for listening.